though? What do you really care about here? What do we care about? Who said money?
Let's check the money,
Yeah, money. So maybe we want to check and see if the bank account actually did get misdirected and it actually isn't wired to us, right? Like maybe this was actually just another account or something to that extent. Yeah.
At this point, as a technical person, I'm just going to hang out in the server room until you guys come.
But you would probably start having questions, right? If it was me, and maybe it was pause. What else? What would you want to know? What's the main thing you want to know right now out of this context?
Yeah.
We know the money, we covered it. What else?
There's an important one.
Let's see the email.
There we go.
Yeah, let's look at the freaking email. Did it come from his account? When was it generated? Where was it generated? What are the logs around it? Those would be things that I might want to start trying to uncover.
IT, call up the one IT guy.
Yeah, like Roddy, let's get on it.
Computer.
You're checking it out by that server room, right? Roddy, who would you discuss this with in your organization in general? Like if you're put in that hot seat.
No one.
Like Mr. Attorney, you're billing in 5-minute increments today? I mean, I would, so if it came in, so let's say it comes in as a support ticket, I don't know how to go into it, right? So first thing I would do is be like, hey, I'm going to talk to my direct supervisor and be like, hey, this seems all the scale something bigger than I would have. That's a technical lead. How do we handle this?
Yeah.
Right, because maybe we don't have, well, it says we have an incident response plan, but do we have an escalation plan for things where we're trying to figure out whether or not this is a lowercase I or an uppercase I?
Well, and maybe go ahead.
IR plans vary in mileage though, right? So just because you got an IR plan doesn't mean you got the
Everyone
right
raised
one,
your hand
right?
with an IR plan, so I know you all have one, so that's good.
And it's a good one.
Yeah, a damn good one. I think to the point that I would probably be trying to figure out and start as a company, and especially in your role in technical, maybe trying to triage and have a plan for how I triage events, like following your process for how I take an event, investigate an event, what systems I'm doing it in. I don't know if any of you separate out events into a separate platform, but ultimately we did at some point, right? To say these need to be in something else that we can track, and then ultimately brought it back into the ticket system. But the point is to be able to start tracking this and show your work of how you decided this was an incident or an event, right? I think that might be something on that side.
What's another thing from the finance side that you should be thinking about right this second? If you have been, if someone has reported to you, that's one for sure. But there's actually another one. If someone's reported that money was somewhere and went somewhere else,
let's call that.
What are you going to do, right?
Make sure they know more.
Right.
Well,
you can get what you're finding.
Yeah. Who's familiar with ACH clawback provisions? Well, thanks, Wes. But you're a banker. Shut up. Yeah. So go ahead. You raised your hand. What's an ACH clawback?
Yeah. So in the event, let's call the financial institution. Let's see if they have the ability to rake back the response.
That's right. Yeah. And it's time based. Yeah. Like in fact, there were threat actors that know the wire transfer timeline so effectively and so well. That they, I'm not, you can cut me off, let's go.
I have no job. All right, it's an allocation round for those of you that have played this before, so the executive has to actually start doing something here. You can't just delegate it now, so MacKenzie, you need to be, your icon's this one right here, right?
And MacKenzie, you can scroll.
And you've got 85, and you need to allocate.
Am I in the right area?
Do we have to click something?
Do we have to click something to move along? It's
What's
not
not
letting
getting on
us.
your side?
Refresh page.
Yeah, refresh the page real quick.
TikTok.
Huh.
Okay.
Are they in the wrong room?
No, they're in the right room.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, I'll just do it for you. So what I'm going to allocate for, well, we were
A new
about the
inject,
internet.
your technical system for the delivery of your tabletop fails.
All right.
Open to work.
So what I'm doing right now is I'm usually Wes or MacKenzie them to do this, but we're going to I'm allocating these resources, right? So you see I'm allocating 4 here. If you look, these are 25 units each, so if I do 4, that's 100, right? So I'm taking care of that, and legal only needs like
Maybe one.
We need
That's all you need, right?
We need all the resources.
Yeah, so the point being, now this is a single challenge at the first round, because this is to kind of break you in slowly, but as this thing goes forward, these challenges start popping up from all different angles, right? And we got 2 injects there too.
Yeah, 2 injects, let's see what they are. We got Matt can't use a mouse inject.
You're there.
I know. It's just, there you go.
A
local news outlet catches wind of the incident and
shit.
starts asking for comments, increasing pressure on the PR team. That's pretty quick. You guys got an insider thread.
Yeah, wow.
My first step in my incident plan is call the media.
Yeah.
Go on the all hands chat. No one talk to
I want my
any media.
whistleblower status.
I need my Queen-Tam settlement status. The attacker launches a phishing campaign targeting other employees to gain more account credentials. That's a realistic injection. right? One of the worst business email compromises I ever. Nope, it's time to move on. Okay, as more information surfaces, isn't that the stress of this game? You realize you are facing a possible compromise, right? We now believe we have something going on. The technical team says it appears that the finance email account in question has been compromised. So thanks, Roddy. The finance team has reviewed the payment history of Prestige Development and verifies that you have not received the money in the mortgage payment in question. Rachel, CEO, calls the executive team to bring them up to speed to let them know of the loss. The financial team reviews all client transactions for other fraudulent activity. The finance and technical teams work to secure the accounts. Let's dig into this. What do we know now? What do we know now? We've been told what? Matt still can't use a mouse. We have what? We have a compromise. We have at least an incident probably in your mind. Would you agree?
Yeah.
There's an I, maybe lower I. I don't use the little I, big I, Roddy. I love it, but anyways. But a bigger case I might be the case here. What else do we know?
We maybe have an insider, but for sure media's already picked up, so we have some
Sure.
PR handling to do.
So we have some PR handling to do. What else? What else do we know?
Money can go to the right place.
Yep, money's not in our bank accounts. We definitely are going to be chasing back clawbacks.
The potential scope of the incident is now between one account, now it's multiple accounts.
Yeah,
potentially.
Yeah.
that's where I'm digging at. Most of the time, if I land in an environment and I'm using something like GraphRunner or using something like a token theft and replay, my next goal is to try to use that new privileged position to lateralize. Yeah, it hasn't changed. Lateralization still exists, boys and girls, and so my intention would be to try to use enterprise application attacks, right? GraphRunner makes that super simple to register an enterprise app and inside as I've already taken over that account and then start phishing those other internal employees. The other thing is AP and AR may not be the same. So AP, it might be a different human I need to talk to attack. One of the worst ones I saw was an ABC chain. Really, the first company got compromised, they learned of the people in the second, targeted the people in the second, got access to the people in the second, now learned of the people in the third position and started targeting those third position. That was a $1.9 million loss in a day and a half. The attacker spent about $40 on infrastructure. So when you think about that asynchronicity of that return, this is definitely happening. So yes, they would try to lateralize. What comes to mind as a way to have prevented this situation? Anybody? And we're in a nerdy place, so technical answers will count for extra points. Go ahead.
Concur or some other solution that would do a dual payment authorization.
Sure.
I was gonna say wire transfer controls.
Yeah. I want to speak in information here. The first piece would be some platform that needs synchronicity of both parties agreeing in a platform to have that payment happen, like Concur. And the second piece would be just tighter ACH controls. Like you can't change an ACH. The problem is with the tighter controls, it wasn't us that changed it. Right? So yours, I agree. I think the tighter controls doesn't work as much, right? Because we didn't necessarily change anything. They did. And you can't control their people in that way, right? So it's harder to deal with. What else can we do to maybe technically, we know we have an account compromise. What can you do to technically protect against account compromises, y'all?
Background authentication.
MFA? What kind? There's flavors of it, like basket of olives.
SMS.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking for a specific flavor.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, we're using MFA though, right? So what are we using for MFA?
Yeah? What's that?
I mean, we are using it for this org.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like Duo or Okta that can break the chain.
I'm actually thinking a little bit more technical. Yeah, I'm going FIDO.
Yeah. Well,
When you think about most token thefts, they happen as AITMs, or adversary in the middle methodologies. AITMs are not possible when you are using FIDO or other phishing resistant methodologies. It is not possible. Like, it's not technically possible. So that may be something to think about is as we have finance people or as we have people that do more sensitive things in our world, we perhaps might do more sensitive things in protection to reduce the risk of that.
There's some basic policies and procedures you could put in place too that require no technical, right? I mean, by talking to your banking institutions and making sure there's a procedure between you and them if someone's changing a destination.
But that's on the other side, Bob.
That
That's
is on the-
outside of this
I-
control. That's on the prestige, not prestige development, right? They're the ones that change. based on that history.
Dear voice in the skylight, are we using an on-prem or a hosted email?
You are using a non-hybridized, on-cloud, direct Entra ID Microsoft tenancy.
So like, do we have conditional access
You
policies?
do.
and stuff? Okay.
Yep, you do. You don't use them because you suck, but you have them.
Go ahead.
Checks, 'cause,
Sorry, go.
Some sort of MDR on your 365 to prevent.
Yeah, impossible travel, sign in, interesting sign-ins, graph type token things that can do that. I absolutely award points for that. You get Matt points.
Those aren't toys.
I know.
Outsourced by IS.
And if you do have callbacks locked down for a third-party provider, you can break the AITM.
Sure. Where the callback goes to your point, yeah. That would give you extra technical points for that, Jesse, and you've now surprised me with your technical nature. At what point should we call legal?
Now.
Yeah.
Would everybody agree we're at a point where legal needs to be involved? Or they haven't been it yet?
Yeah, what's one reason we should definitely do it now?
So I can make a lot of money.
No.
Press.
You must be external counsel.
Regulatory issues, business contracts.
Notifications.
Client attorney privilege, right? You need to get your client attorney privilege in place right now because the discussions that you're having right now, they're open. When you've got an attorney involved, they're closed. They can't be subpoenaed as research, right? So that's the reason to do that quickly.
Any contractor
Good answer.
should hire the attorney as well for a small retainer.
All right.
Yep.
So you got different challenges now. Set up a meeting between finance, tech, and executive. That was part of what came out of that part of the story. Review transactions of all clients, and then work to secure the email account. Which one should we do first? Players. This is where you have this. And by the way, you guys are going to feel this. There's more to do than you got resources to do right now.
What checks out?
Is there something above in green, or we already done?
We
It's
finished
all
that
green.
one. If it's green, it's finished. We finished that one.
MacKenzie, you have to tell them when to scroll.
Yes.
Oh yeah, scroll down.
As
56 seconds.
As the lawyer, I recommend number 2. We should review transactions.
Yeah,
I
I would
I
agree.
agree with as the CFO.
Yeah, that's a financial, right, discovery process.
That's all I care about is more money leaking out the door.
Yeah.
And the likelihood is, if this has happened to one, if y'all are familiar with these modalities, the threat actors go and search the mailbox. Like I can use Graph Runner to search for the term payment, or search for the term invoice, or search for the term. And so then they're just going to copy those invoices and reply to each of them, sometimes out of band, sometimes in band, right, depending on how it goes. And so that means that I'm going to try to lateralize and add more of those victims in that same access space.
I went because MacKenzie was so interested in making sure that she started out to get a little bit of a lead on this first challenge. She allocated 4 resources to the exec for meeting with finance.
It's a lot
So
of resources.
you'll see in this particular type of game, right? You're only going to be able to do so much with the tools you got. You guys all feel that, right? That's how it really works.
All
in
right,
life. So
Rachel, the CEO, gets a call
You gotta
from
prioritize.
Benjamin's, I'm cutting you off. Benjamin's CFO team, who identified 2 more suspicious transactions totaling another $150,000.
Is that all?
Yeah, it's not much, you know. Rachel immediately called an executive team meeting to brief them on the situation and discuss next steps. The executive team begins to take action. The team decides, y'all take your judgment on this. The team decides to send an email to all affected customers to hold their payments until further notice.
That's what this company decided to do.
That is a
Thank you.
terrible
I'm with you
choice.
on that. Yeah,
So if we have
right.
a compromised email system, why are we sending emails?
Yes.
Because they already called their MSP and the MSP said you're good.
Because even
Sorry. I'll see myself out. They're not using us. Oh, good.
Yeah, we
Thank
don't
God.
use them.
Oh my God. Okay. I'm sorry. This got wild right here.
Yeah.
This got wild.
yeah, we're stepping on some insecurities
Roddy,
like
you started
crazy.
this, then how should you communicate?
Well, an incident response plan should tell us what our ultimate communication method.
What would that be? Give me a suggestion.
Out of band.
Phone call.
Yeah, like
Phone
a
call.
secure team, like a Zoom or whatever we're going to use, as long as it's secure.
Something that's speaking to those partners. What else can you do
I
that's
wouldn't
more?
use Teams because your Office 365 is
The
compromised.
phone,
Yeah.
Robert. You know what's funny is when I played this with billion-dollar company CEOs, that was actually their favorite answer. Was I'll find those most expensive customers and I'll call them personally. I was actually blown away by that, right? Because I would have thought scale was different in that situation, but it wasn't. So Robert said call. I have a different position that I believe would be valuable. How many of you have a status page? ChooseNetworks.com/status. IconicIT.com/status. Right? Because if you did that, you could now make that behind a login potentially if you want to keep it secure, tied into your customers so they can see it. And now you can give regular updates and you can refer your customers when they call. Instead of saying, hey, what's going on? Oh, we have a breach. You go, if you will, go to the status page, please, and you can check up regular updates of what we're dealing with.